to your hometown solutions. I'm your host, Jean Newell with Waterview Realty. And in the studios with me today is my co-host, Jonathan Lack. Hello, Jonathan.
Hello, Jean. Thanks for having me back.
Boy, do we have a great show. And we're going to be talking about home safety. You know, we always talk about something to do with your home and real estate. Let's just give them our little slogan, Jonathan. We cover everything from foreclosures to feng shui. And in the studios with me today, I have two handsome gentlemen, Alan Clark and Alex. And pronounce your last name, Alex?
Candelario.
Candelario. Sounds like candelabro. Is that a derivative of candelabra, or what do you know?
Sure, that works. It's actually it's Spanish for candle maker, I assume.
Oh, candle maker. Okay, sure. And they are with the Cocoa Fire Department, and they're in uniform, ladies. And we do have photos available. That's a fire. Do you have a firefighter's calendar?
No, we do not actually, but that's a good idea. We'll definitely keep that in mind for y'all.
There you go. We're always looking for the firefighters' calendars. We have something special to announce, and then we're going to get into fire safety and some great tips for you as a homeowner. But let's talk about the event coming up on September the 9th. It's called the Memorial Stair Climb Event. Alex, tell us a little bit about that event and what it's involved.
Okay. The event, we wanted to pay tribute to the fallen firefighters from September 11th who climbed the World Trade Center towers to attempt to rescue as many people as they could. This idea was kind of Alan's brainchild about a year and a half ago, and he came to me and some of the firefighters, and we wanted to pay tribute kind of on our own, do a stair climb of our own to pay tribute to them. But then we decided that this is something that all the citizens should share in too, because we all felt that tragedy that day. Mm-hmm. So we kind of came up with this event. Last year we ran it for the very first time, and we had about 500 citizens come out and join us and essentially climb those flights to pay tribute to those fallen firefighters with us.
So in the event, you actually climb 110 stairs. Is that correct?
That's the goal. Obviously, certain people can't climb quite that far, but certainly come out and give your best attempt, and everybody's welcome, regardless of level of fitness or anything like that. It's kind of like a 5K or running a marathon or something. It's a personal fitness goal that's totally unique to this area. We're the only people that do it. And
where's it going to be held?
It's at Cocoa High School's football stadium.
The stadium itself has how many stairs? Because you go 10 times.
You go through the stadium 10 times. Each time through the bleachers, there's a certain track you follow.
I see.
That we have mapped out with some arrows on the ground and everything like that. Each time through is 10 flights of stairs. And then you start back at the beginning of the bleachers and you go through again.
Right. And that is really, people don't realize that the firefighters on 9/11 had to make that trek up. There's no elevators, because that's another tip. If there's a fire in a high-rise or anywhere that has elevator, you never want to get in the elevator.
Right, and for them, the elevators weren't working, even if they decided to take the elevators because of the damage.
One question we had from one of our call-in people actually listening to the show already is, during this run, does anybody carry anything? Is it any rucksacks or anything like that?
So the firefighters themselves are going to be in full bunker gear with air packs on. Wow. Those are the funny tanks you see on our backs. And the whole outfit weighs about 40 to 60 pounds.
Really? And so they'll be doing, ideally, the 110 flights and 40 to 60 pounds.
Correct.
That's
correct. Wow. And then a lot of the citizens that come out choose to wear a weighted vest or a big backpack or something, just to make it a little more challenging for them and to try to simulate the idea of wearing firefighter gear.
Do you have any idea, you had said like a 5K, but any idea what the distance actually is? Obviously it's stairs, so it's a different animal entirely, but
it's 2,200 steps up.
2,200 steps. Wow.
So if you think about your house, it's usually 14 steps or so. If you think about a high-rise building, usually it's 20 steps per floor. So we're doing 2,200 steps.
I'm imagining some things from my youth that I don't know that I'd want to try right now, but back in law school, I used to run the stairs at the swamp at the University of Florida, but not 10 times around. If I got around once, I was happy, and rarely did that. And then also I had a friend who lived on very silly thing. They lived on the 14th floor, but it was really the 13th floor because we don't have 13 floors.
Right.
And I used to always, when I'd go visit, I'd always go up the stairs. But again, that was 14 or 13 flights, not 110. So that's an impressive event. That's great. You find many people finish. I mean, of the 500 who appeared last year,
a huge portion of them were able to finish.
That's excellent.
Just the race day kind of adrenaline made people go a lot farther than they expected to go. And, of course, we obviously had a lot of really fit people there in the first place.
Is that a fundraiser? Is there a charge to get in?
There's no charge to get in, but we are taking donations. We're selling food, and we're selling primarily T-shirts. We have event T-shirts that we'll be out there selling. We have their commemorative stair climb shirts, and then we're going to be selling October breast cancer awareness shirts. That's how we make the bulk of our money. The shirts are $15 a piece.
Well, that's great to know, because our listeners always say, "How do we get involved? What can we do?" And we always direct them to either a website or tell them, support your community volunteers and service people in doing all these different dangerous jobs. We always thank our service people, but we should be thanking our police and fire department every time we see them, because you do outstanding work. Tell us a little bit about how they could find out a little bit more about this event, or your website or a phone number.
So we have pretty much three methods. We have a website, and the website is Cocoa911climb.weebly, and that's WEEBLY.com. And that's where you can find a ton of information about our stair climb, and as well as register for the stair climb.
Okay.
And we have a Facebook page. We have two Facebook pages, actually. One is called Cocoa Fire Department Unofficial. And if you just type that in your Facebook search, it'll come up. And we're always posting new content on there. And then there's a page devoted specifically to the stair climb, and it's called Cocoa FD 911 Stair Climb, or 911 Stair Climb.
Do you have the statistics on during 9/11? I don't think a lot of people remember the statistics on the firefighters and civilians that lost their life during 9/11.
So it's 343 firefighters, 71 police officers, and 2,996 civilians. So over 3,000 people total. It's
amazing that, as the years go by, we've kind of put that aside. We were very attuned to it, but every year that goes by, people tend to put it in their memories a little bit farther and farther. And it's times like this that we need to really bring that to light, because you don't realize climbing those stairs with 40 or 60 pounds of weight, how long would it take somebody, if they're not in an emergency, how long would it take somebody to get to the top of 110 flights of stairs? At least an hour, wouldn't you think?
Well, for us completing it at a decent pace, it takes us approximately 55 minutes to an hour to complete. So them on that day with
you got smoke, and you have
people coming the other way
down, and then you're up there. Then you're carrying people. You're trying to assist people. That's the challenge that I think that a lot of people don't realize, that it's not just about climbing stairs. It's about what you have to do once you get to the top, and that's one nice thing about this area. We don't have a lot of high-rises, but do you also participate on the beach side with the high-rises there on call sometimes? Do they call you in to assist with any fires in the condominiums, or the high-rises on the beach side?
No, we don't really make it beachside a lot. That's more Cocoa Beach Fire Department. We're Cocoa Fire Department. We're more on the mainland. We have a few high-rises of our own.
What tends to be a territorial coverage for a fire department? Are they city-based, county-based? Where can I expect my fire? Again, I hope I never need the assistance, but if I did, where would I expect, and what kind of time response is typical for anywhere?
For us, we're a municipal fire department, so we serve the areas within the city of Cocoa limits.
Okay.
So we're dedicated to that. Merritt Island is under the coverage of Brevard County Fire Rescue, which is also a great department, and they do generally the majority of the fire coverage here in the county. But some of the other cities and municipalities, Titusville, Palm Bay, and Melbourne, and Cocoa Beach specifically, have their own municipal fire departments.
Okay, great. And And how big an area is Cocoa, and how many different what do you call them, branches? Stations. Thank you.
Cocoa is a relatively small city compared to the others in the county. We have about 17,000 people in the city, and we have 3 fire stations.
Okay, very good. All right, and when it's covered by the county, or new question, the difference between, I understand Cocoa is you guys are full-time employees, or you're employees of the fire department, and I know there are also volunteer fire departments. What constitutes the difference? Obviously, volunteerism, but what would be the difference between you as what I'll call professional firefighters versus a volunteer fire department?
So with us, we're fully staffed 100% of the time career fire department. So we have a certain amount of people that are on staff ready to respond to calls at any given point in time, 24/7, any time. So we're here, we're dedicated to the city of Cocoa, and its citizens can expect us within 5 minutes at any given time.
You know, a lot of times people have an address that says maybe Cocoa, but they're out in the county. So in that particular case, then the county fire department takes care of them, even though their address might say Cocoa.
Yes. And believe it or not, we have a lot of people that call us from Port St. John area that have a Cocoa address that think that we're the department that responds to their calls. So we're bordered on the south by the city of Rockledge at Rosa L. Jones Boulevard. And on the north end, we're pretty much up until just north of 528. So anything north of that is taken care of by Brevard County Fire Rescue.
And of course, it's 911 that people call. They shouldn't be trying to look up the station's phone number. They need to call 911, and they'll figure out what fire department station to call out for them.
Yes.
Is that right? So this is so exciting to know what all you provide, the community services. I went online, and I thought this was kind of fun. It said, do you have ride-alongs? And the answer was yes. So you can call and ride along with you all on a call, or actually go out, and hopefully there won't be a call, I guess. What happens? They're out there on a ride-along. Tell us what you do. Do you go out for 15, 20 minutes, or what happens?
Sure. Generally, if anybody wants to ride along with us, what they do is they call our main headquarters station, and they just fill out a form, and they can come ride with us for a full business day during regular hours. So they can come in and see us check out the trucks early morning at 8 o'clock, and then come in and stay with us till about 4:30 or 5 o'clock. And what they'll be doing is essentially riding on the engine, coming with us to calls. Of course, they can just stand by and watch with whatever we're doing, whether it be an emergency medical call or a structure fire. They can stand by the engine and watch us work.
Do you all have to have a medical background as firefighters?
Yes. So with the city of Cocoa, the majority of our firefighters are also duly certified as EMTs and paramedics. So we're a full advanced life-saving department, which basically means that anytime you call 911 for medical, we're going to have certified paramedics there to handle your emergency.
We have all the same capabilities as an ambulance crew. We just don't have an ambulance. We have fire trucks, but we're all paramedics and EMTs, as well as firefighters. So
I have to say something really off the record, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. Just my little personal thing. So Jonathan and I are both from South Florida. So when I was living in Pompano many years ago, I dated a firefighter. It was kind of fun. And his station was right down the street from where I worked. And I worked in a showroom, a car showroom. So I was right out there where I could see the street. And when he would drive by, he'd always wow, wow with and of course everybody in the whole place would call me and say, they'd say, Sonny just drove by. I go, yes, I know. So that was his little embarrassing moment for me. So that's my little personal story about firefighters. So we love you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
If I may, what is the difference between an emergency medical technician or EMT and a paramedic?
this one. So, yeah, an EMT, emergency medical technician. It's typically one semester of school, and it certifies you to the basic life support level. And when you become a paramedic, that's a whole nother year to a year and a half of schooling beyond EMT school, where you're trained in advanced life support. So you get cardiology, IVs, medications, all these things. So a lot of the things that you see done in the hospital, maybe on TV or in real life, we're actually doing out in the field in some crazy conditions.
You know, it's always very impressive to me. I am very much not a medical person. It's definitely not